the first question we're asking ourselves, it's what are yield maps? So how do we define this? Uh, well, first they are a representation of the productivity in the field. And in this map, we can see the different crop yield levels. And just to go in the technical side, it has a vector format where it's each point with an XY position that links to the real world position has a lot of information attached, and we'll see this information in detail. The information that we obtain depends on the type of monitor. You have different monitors from different providers, John Deere, Ag Leader, Case, Class, etc. Raven. So what we'll have is that in each of these points, you have attached a record or a row of information. So here you see, in this case, it's a case monitor from the date, the crop, the yield mass wet, the dry yield mass, the speed, so the flow. So the number of data columns that we can use to analyze it and draw conclusions. And we'll see this when we go into the analysis and application part of the presentation. Okay, this is very interesting to see what is required to generate them. There's a number of additional devices or pieces of equipment that we need to have in the harvester. The newest harvesters will come with all this equipment already in the harvester. Some old harvester we can add the different devices. So basically we'll have a yield monitor that will show us the yield maps and will be recording the data. And it has a number of sensors, different types of sensors for everything you can imagine, for the speed, for the height of the harvester front, for the impact plates where the grain is flowing and impacting a plate that will measure that flow. We have storage devices. So we have, of course, a GPS device. So we have a number of sensors, as I said, that will measure the grain flow by unit of time, the humidity, the harvester speed, the bearing, the height of the cut, the platform width. And we'll see why each of these sensors is important. All of this data is linked to a location because everything is connected to a GPS. So this is what allows us to map all the information as we move forward. So we have all these sensors that will basically be able to record every and each one of these variables. Okay. So what do we need to see them? The next step, after we download, we'll go into this in detail, but the next step is to have some type of software or service that will allow us to see, to read, to analyze, to clean the data, to see and to use it. So we have different softwares. Usually this is softwares that are working on the desktop, SMS, FarmWorks, SST, and GeoAgro Farm 360 is also part of this family, with the difference, and we'll see it in the next slide or screens, that it's more a service than a software. It means that you will upload the yield data and the data will be automatically cleaned, processed, visualized, and analyzed. What all these softwares and services give you is the possibility to read different types of formats. So here we see the John Deere formats, GSD, RCD, Ag Leader formats, Case, New Holland, AGCO, Class, Raven, Trimble, etc. So each one of the monitors will have their own data format, will have their own data structure, and we need to have software that give us the ability to read each of these formats and then process the data. Just to give you an idea and to see that's very simple to use. In the case of Farm 360, it's a web-based tool that some of you have used. And what you will have is, after you upload the data to your farm, you will have first a yield map. So here you see in this, I believe this is soybean. Yep, this soybean. And what you will see is the yield point by point, and a legend that will give you what is the actual yield level in each point. And very important, each software will give you the possibility to analyze the data. So in the case of Farm 360, you will have automated reports where you can have the yield map. Also, you have the speed map, which is very important. We'll see in next slides why it's so important not to go above certain speeds. You will have the ability to compare that data with other layers of information, such as productivity maps. So you can, for instance, see the actual yield by management zone. And this is very important because you will be making a number of agronomic decisions, and the yield map, it's like your report at the end of the year. That's what gives you the grades, and that's what gives you information on what happened at each zone, maybe what happened with a seed prescription, with a certain fertilizer, with a management zone decision. I mean, a management decision by zone.